Welcome, one and all, to the On the Level podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Charles or Chuck. I'm also here with.
Uh, this way. Toasted.
Yeah, I'm
What's up, guys?
Toasted.
Yeah,
toast,
Oh, like toast?
yeah.
Ah.
and I'm also here with.
My name's Hayden. Some call me Miracle.
Yeah, and then our last but not least.
Yes, sir. It's 2-bit. It's gonna be Q. Whatever. It's easy for you. Q's probably easier.
Well, welcome, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's having a good Sunday. It's been a while since we have talked with our wonderful followers and members and everything.
Yes, sir.
So, we're going to jump into what we talked about last time. If anybody wants to take that away, since I was not here for it.
I guess me and Toasted should review the last 2 years. Our biggest things last time we talked, I think, was the last Game Awards around that time. It's about in January. It's been a minute since January, and the hot topic for that day pretty much delved into like it's the talk of time is Xbox versus PlayStation. Which one is better off in the long run? Why people would buy, the kid if the kid's like, hey, I want a system. Which one would they buy their kid? That was kind of the main gist of last time. And what games were coming out and what seemed worth it. What was going to be potential game of the year, what was coming out that was good. Elden Ring, but we'll go back into that later. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
I also agree that Elden Ring is game of the year.
It is, but we can go into that later.
Yeah, but you're right. But yeah, no. Besides that, we definitely have a couple of games that came out through from last time we did the podcast till now, and then as you can see, we do have Chuck. He's back with us. So Chuck, tell us a little bit of since the last time we did the podcast, what you've been playing.
Oh, man. Well, while I was overseas, I was super happy that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out. That was a game that I was super, super excited to play and happy to play. I was also gaming. This is going to sound kind of weird, but I was also hopping on that Final Fantasy The First Soldier Battle Royale game, which was...
I saw that. I didn't get to play it, but I did see it.
It's good.
Okay.
Definitely... It's one of those games that you need to hop in and play, not necessarily religiously, but just to get all the controls and everything down, and to have fun and to go up against these hardcore gamers that are actually like hooking up their controllers to their phones and stuff.
It's definitely an acquired taste. It's not like your PUBG Mobile or your COD Mobile. It definitely throws a nice little spin on the BR for phone users or tablet users, whatever you play on. But the sweats come out with their plugged-in controllers are, fucking probably plugged-in keyboards. If
Listen,
we're being honest.
Listen, we know you're one of the sweats that play Apex Mobile with a controller. It's okay.
Listen, Apex Mobile
see what I'm
is
talking about?
easy. Apex Mobile is easy as it is, not only because I'm overseas and I feel like 80% is bot, but it's really not that bad. Because I feel like I probably play against a bunch of kids. But it's not terrible. Apex Mobile was long waited for, and they threw out a limited character for Apex Mobile. That was kind of interesting. Didn't think it was gonna happen, but yeah, Final Fantasy was refreshing when it came out. Now we have Apex Mobile, I guess.
It was indeed a good play. I think I only played it for about a month, and then Pokemon came out, and that was my new thing that I was running into. But when I came home from my being overseas, I first game I played was the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island DLC. I was really, really looking forward to playing that, and I was definitely not disappointed. 10 out of 10. And then I hopped over to Battlefield 2042, And
Which game? Well, that I want to say, if we're gonna talk about the Razzie Awards of games, it definitely has to go to Battlefield.
I can't
Because
put into words how hyped we were for that game.
I honestly I was hype as fuck because Battlefield was one of those games that I genuinely enjoyed, and then this one came out and it was just like, what the fuck is this? And then it was
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe if we wait like a couple months or some shit, maybe it'll get better. Never got better.
nope.
No, never. Mm-mm.
And
So
there
I
were
feel
so
bad
many
for
updates.
yeah, I
Sorry.
feel bad for whoever bought the premium shit because
I will say this.
Mm-mm.
I feel like it got better with the past update. Of course, launching a new map is always nice. A few little reworks,
Yeah.
throwing out some new weapons, this, that, and the third is always cool. The biggest problem I think we all had, we were expecting it to look amazing, just like we
No.
were.
See, I don't even listen. I don't even give a fuck about if it looks amazing. It can look like dog shit, but if it
It looked
plays,
like dog shit.
if it played, it played terrible. I'm sorry, it
I
just
think the
played.
issue was that they promised us, in a sense, 3-4 games in one. It was you're playing new Battlefield and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 and Bad Company all in one game. And it was like, well, that's just well shit, that's
Oh,
perfect.
and let's not forget when you did play the old ones, you didn't
Yeah,
get
your
no fucking experience for it.
yeah, your progress didn't go through. So it was like if I want to play the old, like let's say I play the new game. And they made it seem like you could use new mechanics on the older game systems. You could use the, older game system on the new maps, which to an extent you could, but your progress didn't matter. And when they only had at launch like 6 guns, that's not the same. You can go to any older, like the older Battlefield titles, which is why people hype for this one. I think Battlefield 3 and 4, you had over like 150 guns to choose from.
Yeah.
In the new Battlefield, you get 5? You get 5 a class, that's it.
5,
Yeah.
6, maybe
5 or 6 to a class. That's all you get. They maybe add 1 or 2 more with some DLC. Or,
Yeah, but
3
I mean,
updates.
you're getting more. I mean, granted, you did get attachments in the old one.
I'm saying you got the old ones. You got a lot.
Yeah, you definitely did, but I mean, my biggest problem with Battlefield when it came out was you'd play the same map every single game. It felt like I would play the same map for 5 or 6 games, and then it would rotate to a different map for the next hour, which you don't even really get to play it because the matches almost take an hour as it is.
yeah.
So it was just weird. Like it was in a weird funnel of how the maps played out, and my biggest thing, it also looked like shit. I was hoping that it was going to be a lot more crystal clear. It
You
honestly
know,
looked worse than Call of Duty.
one of the things that pissed me off, high key. I think it was one of the. You know how in old Battlefields you can go in and just do a regular team deathmatch. I mean, yes, you can still do that in this game, but the maps were fucking huge for no reason. Like they didn't even think about like sizing down the maps a little bit for the for like regular deathmatch or any other thing that you wanted to do. They just kept the maps the same sizes throughout every play mode.
Yeah.
That is big factual. I was very disappointed with Battlefield as a whole, and even to this day, it's still big poopy. But
Yeah, I haven't picked it up since last time I played, which was like six months ago, maybe. If
yeah,
whenever the fuck.
yep. But we're
Best thing they did do with the game, though, you could pretty much return it on Steam or any platform, if I remember correctly. Get your refund. That was probably the best choice they made.
True.
I know I took a hold of that for Steam, but
yeah, that was definitely good on Steam for that. I know Steam is very harsh when it comes to their returns and stuff. So, but it is what it is. We're also going to be talking about some of the games that were released in January. One of them being Pokemon Legends Arceus. That was it was different and it was good.
It's I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or whatever, but that's what Arceus was literally just a beta version of that. They're literally using I mean, besides it's going to be more multiplayer based kind of. So like if all of us were to get the game, I think we can meet up with each other. I don't know. They didn't really give us enough details for that, how that was going to work, but I know that it's going to definitely have the same mechanics as Arceus, maybe a couple sprinkled in here and there, and then the multiplayer aspect. I know that's the big driving force of this game.
Yeah, yeah. One of my personal favorites was just how fast you can catch Pokemon. Obviously, since it was different with how you can catch Pokemon by just throwing a Pokeball and then you just keep going about your day, and that Pokemon will either be caught or it'll just run away after it comes out of the Pokeball. But that is super, super quick, and that was my favorite part of the game because any other Pokemon game you play, uh, you basically have to just wait for the battle animation. Your guy throws out the Pokeball, and then you have to go into your inventory and then throw the Pokeball when it's like
Oh
that.
yeah, it was amazing.
Mhm.
You could catch like 3 Pokemon at once if you really wanted to.
Yes, yes,
You could
indeed.
just start just pitching those Pokeballs, and I mean, it was also a lot easier for your shiny hunting. Um,
Hmm.
I kind of like what they did with the story as kind of like the introduction to like Pokemon, quote unquote, as we know it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I think so. I think that was just them trying to. I mean, people have been doing fan theories of Pokemon since God knows how long. God knows how
No,
long.
for sure they
So
have. But I think it was kind of an interesting pool. And you know, granted, you can only get so much out of that, especially when you think of like how big a Pokemon universe would theoretically be. And you're specifically only in one quote unquote region of the world. So I think it was pretty cool to kind of detail how everything went in that region, kind of how we got introduced to Pokemon. I liked it. It was a good game overall.
So Admiral says thoughts on Monster Hunter Rise. Did anybody play Monster Hunter Rise? Because I did not, sadly.
just me,
I
I think.
Yeah, I played it as well. I've been playing it hit or miss with one of my friends. And it's not terrible. I kind of it's not the same as like the OG Monster Hunter in my opinion, but it's kind of nice to get back into that grind of like Monster Hunter. That's real. I haven't played too much outside of maybe like 4 or 5 hours of it, but I like it so far.
I haven't touched the game, so I can't really give my opinion on it.
Same. I am also just a casual gamer.
What
So
about you, Q? How did you like it?
Just me. I mean, I'm playing Sunbreak now. I think it's fine. Think it's not World, so still a good game, but it's still harbored bias. Doesn't look as good as World. Doesn't have as much stuff in it as World. So I'm waiting for the next game. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's.
But
I mean, I don't necessarily want to like be harsh on them because it's fun for what it is, but it definitely, you're right, doesn't look like World. Um, and I think that's probably like one of my biggest drawbacks because I
Should
feel
have put
like
it
it would
out on the
just.
Switch first.
That's also true. I'll say
I'll be
this: the
right back.
Switch is an amazing, console for what it is, but to be honest, they need to come out with a little bit more as far as the graphics. 'Cause I'm getting fed up.
yeah, yeah, I can definitely
Especially
could
because
use an upgrade.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is gonna come out and it's gonna look like poo poo, and I'm not gonna be happy.
I haven't touched a Xenoblade game since the PS2 games when Xenoblade oh no, that was Xenosaga, excuse me. That was Xenosaga as I was.
I personally, I just like it because it's something to. It's kind of like what is it? Three Houses,
Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem. It's just something you can grind away on a trip. Kind of out of sight, out of mind. or even like your Legends of Zelda, you can kind of just grind at it, pick it up as you go. You don't really have to be focused on it like your actual casual gaming. Um, or that's kind of how I explain it. But that's why I like playing like games like that on the Switch. Other than they look like poo, but is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, very retro, so a lot of the games that I still play to this day, were released back in like 95 to about 2004. So I'm not a big graphics dude. If a game is good, I'm going to continue to play it till the day I die. So,
Kingdom Hearts, baby. Graphics
amen.
department.
Let's go. Gosh, please. Um, we're gonna move on to the February where games were released. We got 4 games. Hopefully Q comes back. But we had Dying Light 2, Stay Human. We also had Sifu. We also had the Horizon Forbidden West come out as well, and Elden Ring. My personal game of the year is, hopefully it is the game of the year, but we will see. We will see. What were our thoughts on? Let's see, where is it? What are our thoughts
Dying
on?
Light 2?
Yeah, let's go with Dying Light 2. Take us away, Sackett.
It literally might as well have been a build up like Battlefield. Um, I was hyped. I was excited. I was ready. The first Dying Light, I got into it late. I think I was just at a weird like gaming age. Um, didn't really understand the first one when it dropped. And maybe it's not even that I didn't understand it. It's just that I wasn't willing to like put that much time and effort into a game to like grind, especially for like better stuff overall. Got into it late, fell in love with it, and then so I was hyped for this one. I was really excited, and then I got it. I beat it in a week, um, about a week, and I absolutely did not enjoy it at all, not one bit.
The second
Um,
one?
the second one, I didn't enjoy it. I felt like it was more user friendly.
Yeah.
Personally, I felt like it wasn't hard unless you were playing on a harder difficulty. But like nobody like unless you're a crackhead fanatic for a game, you're not starting a new campaign on the hardest difficulty. Nobody's doing that like
Hold on, hold
off
on,
the
hold
rip.
on. That I kind of want to disagree with you on that because I feel like starting off a game on the hardest difficulty is actually one of the best ways to play a game because that is how the game is intended to be played. They just give you different options so it can be easy mode for you.
I
So
mean,
I
I just
I,
played
I
it
will
on
disagree.
normal.
I'll disagree with you on that one.
Played it on normal, but I mean,
Mm.
I truthfully didn't like it. I didn't like how they took away weapons. Because really, in you didn't need to fight really anything unless you really wanted to. You could just run away
Mhm.
and you could beat the game other than like the bosses you had to fight. Really didn't have to do anything as far as fighting. My unpopular opinion, but that's why I didn't like it.
Interesting. I thought it was a good game. Obviously, February there was a lot of RPG-esque games that have been coming out. Because I feel like Horizon Forbidden West was also a good game. It wasn't the best. Good. It was a decent story. But Dying Light 2, I don't know what was going on with them. Uh, but I found it to be good. Obviously, yeah, like Hayden said, you can run past everything. But I also agree with Toasted that you playing a game on the hardest difficulty is the way to go. Sorry, not sorry. Um, but did anybody else play Horizon Forbidden West?
I know 2-Bit did. I definitely seen a lot of like gameplay on it. And boy, can I tell you, it honestly feels like a letdown compared to the first one. I don't know. It didn't have the same what's a good word to put it? It didn't. It looks like it didn't even have the same oomph to it, like how the first one. The first one, you can tell they fucking tried. You know, they polished everything down, and then when the second one came, it's like, yeah, we'll make it look pretty. We'll give you a story. Have fun. Like I it was I don't know. It just wasn't entertaining for me. It was like a couple step downs from the first one, and I feel like
Okay.
that's what I feel like a lot of games are doing these days. Is definitely
So is it like a money jump? You know, as far as like everybody's like, oh, we want a
That-
second game. We
hon-
want a second game.
honestly
And
that's how a lot of these games are right now. Like especially with a lot of these sequels, it's just that they'll make the game and then it'll like how do I put it? They'll make the game and then they'll make it look like a game, but they're not gonna put the effort that they should. Because I mean, shit. Look at fucking Bethesda right now with
I'm
their
back.
Dabio Immortal shit. Like, cool on them for it to be free to play, but like, bro, let's be honest. They only really made that game because one, it has the Diablo name in it. And then two, they put hella microtransact. That shit's a free to play, a pay to win game. 100%. That's like that's literally a pay to win game. Like games these days are definitely not like they don't care about the entertainment value. Like they just want the money at this point. That's why every game now like comes out with a season pass or not even a fucking complete game. They'll be like, oh, let's wait for this DLC to drop before you can actually have fun with it. And unlike Battlefield's case, like even if they drop a DLC and say that it'll be fun, that shit's gonna be trash. So I don't know. I feel like it's the same way for Dying Light 2. I think Dying Light 2 definitely did not capture the same momentum that the first one did. For Horizon Zero Dawn 2 didn't do the same thing either.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Chief. That's just wrong.
Hey, that's fine. You can disagree.
Dying Light, I don't know about because I don't really zombie games to me it is boring. I don't care about them. But for Horizon, they took that game and made it better in every possible way. Every complaint I had about the first game was addressed in the second one, so I didn't have to really. I mean, there's a couple things where I'm like, this sucks, but it's how the game is. You got to deal with it. Nothing about that game though to me was like they didn't do better than the first because of what they improved on. The biggest issues were like the dinosaurs get stale or the mechs. They changed that up real fast. Oh, the game seems too easy. This game goes, yeah, no, it's not. You can play it on whatever difficulty you want. They will quickly go, this level 45 mob, fight it. This is something out of your league. If you think you're good enough, here's the challenge for you. If you don't, you can do the baby stuff. But here's the actual challenge. I know other games try to be like, this is a sequel, we're going to just push it out for money. I don't think Horizon's one of those games. I think Horizon may be one of the few games where they took their time with it. Because if the game was rushed, it would have been like a different franchise, like Diablo, which was just mobile port, take it, I don't care. It would have been like other ports where they just go, we got to put this game out by X time, it's out. Because they could have delayed the game if they were like, we don't think it's ready. Every studio, I don't think a game has come out on time in years. It is very rare for a game to go, we're coming out in January, and it drops in January.
No, all the games now is either we're going to delay it to either be good or we're just delaying it for no fucking reason because we didn't finish it on time. That's literally how games have been these past couple of years.
I agree, but I also have to agree with Q as well. I feel like from the first game to the second game, there was a lot that they, owned up to their mistakes and made it definitely better. The only complaint that I really have to have is the story. Obviously, they really didn't have that much to go off of, and there wasn't anybody new that they could introduce to be like, okay, now he's the bad guy type of thing. The NPCs, that was, I don't know what it was. There was no connection with the NPCs whatsoever. You just kind of ran in and you were like, okay, cool. And then they tried to do this like board game type thing. It was like a mini Clash Royale inside of a video game. I thought that was okay. But all in all, it was still a good game. My favorite part would have to just be the dungeons. In order to complete the dungeons, now you can capture or turn certain dinosaurs into your ally. I thought that was pretty cool. That was probably my favorite.
Not to mention, I mean, the storyline from people. I mean, I can't spoil the game; it's still kind of new, but the story definitely took from what they had in the beginning, and we're going to expand upon it. You know, without doing that boring thing of it's the same game, but just a new threat is here. It's like, no, these are real important plot points we kind of hinted at in the first game, and you can kind of tell Horizon is not just going to be 2 games over. There's going to be a franchise. Who knows how many games, but
Yeah. Hopefully not that much more, because I feel like
yeah,
they
I don't think it'll be too many more, but
yeah.
enough.
It was a good game in my opinion, but we're gonna talk about Sifu. I have not played it, and I think the only person that has played it here is Q. So
Probably me.
you wanna
Yeah.
give
I don't know if y'all have seen Absolver before or played it or anything, but it's the same company. All you pretty much did was go, or at least in Absolver was a little different, where you could completely make your own hand-to-hand fighting style combat, and it was online. It didn't really have any plot. You kind of just got loaded in and it went go fight stuff, do what you got to do, and you go through levels and learn new moves from fighting enemies. This game's a little different, where it's very story based. Every time you die in that game, I think you gain a year of age. And if you hit 70, you're too old, you die. And the thing is, when you die, though, is how you get to spend the EXP you earn from killing things. So let's say you go through a whole level, don't die. You can take the EXP after winning, after you beat the level and learn new moves. If you die in the meantime, you get an age up and you'll get new moves. But certain moves can only be learned at a certain age. So you can't just go, I'm going to just go farm and die a bunch and learn it. It's like, no, you can't do that. Gotta be good. So having played both Absolver and Sifu, I think Sifu was pretty good. I mean, it's $40 game. I think it was definitely worth the $40 I paid for it. I think people really were wanting an online version of it. I can see why they didn't put it in, but I think it definitely would have helped, even if it was like a DLC kind of thing of, hey, you can just play the game with somebody else. It still would have felt a little better, because it's kind of rare nowadays for a game to be $60 or 60 or 40 and become entirely 100% single player without that gameplay being like the main thing that you go, I can play by myself, I don't care.
Because
when you play,
didn't make it
fair. Because thing, when you play Horizon, there may be some times where you're like, I kind of wish I could play with like a friend of mine, but you're not pressed about it. You don't care. You know, when you play God of War, you're not like, I really wish I had a second Kratos here. You don't care about that. You want to play the story. Sifu is like, I like this game, but I really do wish I could play with somebody else or fight a friend of mine, something. So.
Okay. Sifu sounds like a game that I'll probably jump into.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend
eventually.
it. I definitely recommend it. It's just, it's definitely a game. It's gonna sound messed up. It's a game you get on sale. Because I don't know how much you warrant spending $40 on it, but it's definitely this is on sale. Cop that. Other than that, it's kind of okay.
Okay. Now we're gonna move on to my game of the year game, also released in February, and that is going to be Elden Ring. Who wants to start us off with Elden Ring?
I think. Hold on. I want to know because I really want to know what Hayden's game of the year is. That's what I want to know first, because he hasn't told us what his game of the year is.
What my game of the year is?
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
My game of the year would have to be, hands down, Diablo Immortal.
This guy's high.
Anyway, back to a serious topic. Elden Ring definitely game of the year this year. Unless some shit just randomly drops like that, like how Overwatch did for that 1 year. Because I forgot what was going up against Overwatch. But there was definitely something there that was like gonna win it, but Overwatch came out and it's just like a whole new fucking phenomenon. That one game of the year. But I think it definitely will win game of the year this year. You know, maybe EA will learn something about single player games, you know. But you know, that's
Probably
just me.
not, honest.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Apex is making them too much money.
I feel like
Apex is not about to be making them money, but we'll get into that later.
So I feel like the reason why Elden Ring should win Game of the Year is because it's doing basically what a lot of these companies are It's
No.
not doing what a lot of these companies are doing, which was, hey, you get a pre-order bonus. If you spend this much money while in game, you can get this type of bonus or anything like that. I think the only thing that we can really expect from them is to come out with DLC that will actually be worthwhile. And yeah, it'll most likely cost money, but I mean, the way that Elden Ring has been playing and how fun it's been and the replayability that it has, I will definitely be buying that DLC just because of how amazing that game is.
You know what? I honestly want to bring this up too. One of the things that really I want to harp on when it comes to Elden Ring, it's a game that lets you play the fucking game. It does not push anything else on you. Just play the fucking like. It doesn't even tell it. I mean, it gives you a hint on where to go, but you literally can do whatever the fuck you want. Like you can build how you want. You like it. It lets you play the fucking game just like that. That's just my thing. I just want to get if I'm gonna play a game, I just want to pick it up and play. I don't want no other bullshit to come with it.
Agreed. Q, you got anything?
About Elden Ring, I got a lot. So I know people like to hate on Elden Ring for no
Not game
reason.
of the Hey, don't forget not
No,
game
I'm
of
not.
the year.
I'm not
It's
even
too
gonna
hard.
get. I'm not even gonna get into the game of the year. I know people like to just hate on Elden Ring.
It's too hard.
It's not even the difficulty, because if you ask me, Elden Ring is the easiest of the games. It's actually not hard. If you've played any other Dark Souls game, Elden Ring is but easy. Game kind of holds your hand. Why I say game of the year. If you want to talk about it being the game of the year, the reason I would say it is because one, people always want to talk about money and sales and all that kind of stuff. I don't think the game has outsold Elden Ring yet.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope.
In terms of viewership, I'm pretty sure Elden Ring was the most watched game, other than like LCS. We can't count LCS; those don't count. But regular game still was one of the most popular games out there. Still is, actually. I know last time we talked about it, both off record and on record, it was about, oh well, Elden Ring's not, or we compared it to Dark Souls 3 and how those games, they start dying out after a while. You know, online's not as played. But last we checked, Dark Souls 3, which mind you is a single player game with a multiplayer aspect, was in the top 10 games played on Steam. That's just Steam, not console. It was on Steam. Elden Ring is right there now at number 7. And the only games that are above Elden Ring are all these new games that are coming to Steam for like multiplayer stuff. So it's like, of course, they're going to get more numbers. But Elden Ring is still, don't forget, a single player game. In fact, it's even more single player than the other Dark Souls games, because unlike before, where you get invaded by yourself, can't do that anymore. You got to play with somebody to get invaded. So you really can play that game alone with no issue now, without ever getting bullied. And it's still breaking those kind of numbers. Elden Ring was the most talked about game, the most anticipated game. I don't know another game that was thought about more than Elden Ring.
So you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I'm looking at like all the charts on Twitch right now. There are 3, I want to say 3 games that are solo player that are have been on this list for like the past couple weeks now. Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't fucking know why Five Nights at Freddy's has been on top. I don't follow.
I mean, that game will always get players.
Knack 2, baby.
Get the fuck out of here. Stardew Valley and then Elden Ring. I don't know if Stardew Valley is actually like a single player game because I've never played it.
It's multiplayer.
Well, then 2 games.
It can be multiplayer if you
can be. Most people really don't play it multiplayer, but you can.
I think they only don't in this game because it's not the same. That's literally the only complaint I even had about Elden Ring, was invading was just too hard. Because the thing I'll give Elden Ring, and it's still game of the year, is that unlike the other Dark Souls games where you could just play that game PvP entirely, have a one-on-one, had its own arena duels and stuff, this game doesn't have that yet. Doesn't have it yet. It will. Like, I mean, eventually they'll probably add some, true PvP feature. If right now it's just you got to invade somebody, you're always going to be outnumbered. That's cool. Not a big thing. But the single player part of it mostly comes from in the older games. It would flat out tell you, hey, you can play with somebody. Do your thing. This game, it kind of does. It definitely enforces it. It kind of because pretty much pushes you to do it, but you don't have to. And there's no downside to it in this game. Before the game got harder, way harder. Like I said, the invasion thing, there were reasons to like that was a drawback, so it's not that big a deal for this one. Now I have a question because we were talking game of the year, and the year is almost up. And matter of fact, I think as of August, nothing that comes out afterwards can even be identified as game of the year because it's been too long. If not Elden Ring, then what?
In my personal opinion, it's either going to have to be Elden Ring or it's going to have to be Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay.
I agree. I agree between those two. But I did Hayden say his? I didn't. Not the meme
Be
of
serious.
Diablo.
Yes, be
not
serious.
not the meme of Diablo Immortal. What would you consider your game of the year?
Diablo Immortal.
Okay.
No, if I really had to choose a game, okay, let's be honest. Yes, Elden Ring will probably win it. Do I personally
So he's
like
doubling
it?
down now.
No, I think it will win because I'm being realistic. Do I like it enough to vote it as my game of the year? No, because like my
Okay, right, but the question
same
is,
argument.
The question is, what is your game of the year?
What is my game of the year?
Yeah, that's the question.
Shit,
Yeah,
literally.
okay,
I honestly don't think anything good enough has really come out. I mean, I could maybe give it to Star Wars, and really Star Wars doesn't deserve it.
Lego Star Wars. I mean,
yeah,
Lego Star Wars. I will admit it's good, but ain't no game.
Hold on. I have literally played that game almost every single day, and I can tell you that's not winning game of the year. Is it good?
No,
yes.
that's what I'm saying though. Like I really don't think there have been any games yet this year that have been super standout. Because I do like Diablo Immortal, other than it is pay to win. But I also, I think Elden Ring's good, other than, in my opinion, it's really not playable to all players other than those that specifically want that type of game. Like, you're not having your average gamer jump in and fucking play it and have it, be enjoyable. Like, it's enjoyable to kill this small shit, but most people are not killing the bosses.
Let me help you out. And Q can testify on this because he knows I had to fucking do it. Be better. Get good. That's literally all I can say.
No, and I understand that. I mean, I really don't care. For me, it was a game that I could play through and it was cool, but it's not a game I probably will ever pick up again. You guys already know that I like multiplayer games.
Hold on. What if, Hayden, they modded the game so that way it's like enemy randomizer, item randomizer? You wouldn't want to jump on that and play through the game again?
No, absolutely not.
It's too hard.
Listen, I only played.
If he's not using astrologer, then it's too hard.
Well, then no. I can understand where he's coming from with I like my multiplayer games more. I do get that.
No, I'm not that.
No, hold on.
I never disagreed on that.
No, I know. I'm just hold on. Let me just say this. The sad fact is there's not going to be a good enough multiplayer game that comes out in the next 3 years that'll be as good as Elden Ring. Because Modern Warfare 2 will be replayed for the story mode because people love Modern Warfare 2 story. They love the game, but
I don't think I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think that the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2 is going to be as good as what everybody remembers it. Because listen, the only reason they're getting the only reason people are getting Modern Warfare 2 is because of nostalgia and because they want to feel the same shit that they felt when they got it.
Of course, but I'm saying and as we've seen with those re-releases, you don't. So let me go through the list. Call of Duty is not going to do it. Battlefield tried, they're out of the picture. Unless another BR comes out, that's just next level hot shit. It's not. You got Hogwarts Legacy, maybe, but it's still not going to compare.
The only thing I feel honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I think that Hogwarts Legacy, it's going to be a great game. I don't think it's going to win Game of the Year. but I feel like it's going to have the EA effect. I mean, not the EA, the whole Diablo effect, where I feel like microtransaction is going to kill that game. I just sense it. At the end of the day, I feel like microtransactions is going to kill the game because last time they brought it up, I know one of the I think it was like a forum or some shit. One of their big thing was about their microtransactions.
Nobody
Yeah.
likes microtransactions.
No,
That's
fuck
just
them.
the end of the day. I
And,
feel
hey,
like the only way that I'm going to continue to play Overwatch 2 is as long as the microtransactions just stay on skins, then I'll be fine. If it happens to damper, like, hey, you got to spend this much money or grind this long to be able to unlock Diva or these other characters, stuff like
So
that.
have you seen Overwatch 2? Like, have you
I
played
have.
it? Or?
I've played Overwatch 1. I haven't played Overwatch
So
2,
I
but I've
played
been watching.
Overwatch 2, and I have some bad news for you. Some real bad
Oh,
news.
no.
I have real bad
Let's
news for
hear it.
everybody play for that game. It is the exact same game as Overwatch 1, except there's
Ah.
one less character on each side, so it's even more of a clusterfuck. And people got one less ability now. Don't know why. Don't know why. Yep. Do not know why.
And instead of it being 6v6, it's 5v5 now.
I did say that, yes. So yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
That's
yeah.
literally
Hopefully it's
what
not
he
going to be
just
that bad of a.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
I
But
literally said, yeah, one less on both teams.
but yeah, the game is, when I say the exact same game, they did not. That they added a couple of new maps. It is the exact same game. The only reason people should get Overwatch 2 is if they want PvE. Otherwise, you got 3 new characters, bro. Go nuts. And the
No,
PvE does the PvE
not
does
even
look nice, but it's like, damn, because I initially, so when Overwatch came out, there was another game that came out around the exact same time with the same premise. I don't remember the name of it.
Paladins?
Not Paladins. It was because it was the same style of Overwatch. I think it was Battleground. I don't remember the exact name. I'm losing the name. But I remember looking at that game and looking at Overwatch and going, why should I get Overwatch?
Smite?
Not because Smite's MOBA. Trust me, it was like around the exact month or so. I gotta remember it. It'll come to me eventually. But I remember I didn't know when I got. I remember me and Toasted played the beta for Overwatch and we're like, this is fun as hell. I can't wait for when the full games come out. We can do the same PvP, maybe some PvE stuff with a story, etc. And we loaded the game up, got the same cutscene, and saw a play button, and then we loaded in, and that was it. There was no cutscene, there was no story, there was no PvE. This is base Overwatch. There was no events. There's nothing. It's just going to a game.
It was cool.
Oh no, it was cool. And then
I'm saying it was cool until and after a while. I know you stopped playing, but I definitely played Overwatch like religiously for a point in time. Like I was playing, like I legit was playing it competitively, and I don't know where the fuck it happened. Matter of fact, I do know when it happened. It was when I know when that busted ass character came out. Oh my gosh, I hated her so much. I still hate her till this day. But that and the fact that the way they quote unquote patch stuff was terrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know why they did it, but I simply just hated the fact that one day I started playing and you have to go into a role queue. And everybody in the mother's gonna be fucking attacked. You know what I mean? Like I can't be an attack character that I want because I'm forced to play every other shit. And then their balance, a whole bunch of their balances and stuff like that, it didn't make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Well,
True.
here's to hoping that the PvE is good because that's really the only reason why I am.
That is the
buying
only
in the
thing they
game.
have not shown off yet. Actually, like full in detail.
It's going to be. Listen, I'm calling it now. It's literally going to be like one of their other PvE events. I'm calling it only because it's like they give us that shit every year. They tweak it a little bit and then they send it to us. And then the fact that Overwatch 2 isn't even going to be an actual full-on game by itself. Yeah, no, it's literally just going to be a DLC with it's literally a PvE DLC PvP free update. That's all it is.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
but
damn.
I will say this kind of to go back to the original, discussion. Besides from Overwatch, which won Game of the Year in 2016, 2017, there hasn't been another multiplayer game that has come out in the last really 20 years. Unless you want to count San Andreas, and that was really just co-op from your fucking TV. And I guess you can count BioShock and whatnot, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, those were games where it wasn't like you're queuing up with people that live across the country. You're pretty much playing LAN, or you're playing split screen. I don't think there's going to be a multiplayer game unless it is perfect that will ever win Game of the Year again. Like, unless it's perfect or unless it comes at the right time and it just takes the market by storm. I truthfully do not think it will ever happen. And then even with single player games, nothing is being released to its full capability.
No, I think I agree with you, but I also feel like for multiplayer games, a lot of shit could change. Like again, as much as I don't want to go back to it, but bringing up Overwatch when it first released, like the reason why it won Game of the Year is because it genuinely cared about the people who were going to play the game. They didn't, I mean, they don't do it.
No, for
they
sure,
don't do it
but
now, but like the best way for a multiplayer to win Game of the Year again is to stop being so fucking predatory.
To be fair, to jump back on why I won Game of the Year, I just went to look at the competition. You had Overwatch, of course, which won. You had Doom, Inside, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. And a lot of people were kind of mad that Uncharted 4 didn't win over Overwatch. I
don't think that. Listen, it was a masterpiece. I mean, it was good for that game's title, like as a conclusion to that game. But I personally don't think it would have won Game of the Year either way.
Well, like, I think that because we're not gonna talk. That's a whole other podcast. But that opens a discussion of what truly does Game of the Year mean and what should that mean. Because Game of the Year can just as easily be, what game was the most accessible game to everybody, right? In which case, Fortnite will win Game of the Year every year. There's a reason it doesn't. Yeah. Released or not, reason it doesn't.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's like so many aspects that go into it.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying depending on which aspect you harp on.
For me, I think Apex is the best BR out, hands down. I've gone back to Fortnite and I've played the no build. I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad. I actually think it's more fun than playing the build. But I also, can hop back into a build game and it's decent. I've played PUBG again in the last few months. It's still atrocious because it takes me 10 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes just to find somebody, which I absolutely hate. I've played, a few of the other BRs that are out and about on Steam. For me, I think that Apex is the best overall when it comes to that. And, just like Elden Ring it's a tough game. It's very well made. There's not a lot of glitches. There's not a lot of fucking, other than their cheesy fucking boss things that they had going on. The game was really fucking good overall. The reason I'm not going to get on board is because I think it's a LeBron. Think it's good for what it is, but I think people fucking ride its nuts too much. That's just me.
Wait, which game?
Elden Ring. But overall, it's a really good game. Like, it, for all the hours I played it, there was other than the difficulty and me actually having to learn the boss mechanics, and like hell, fucking go and grind for whatever pieces of items are going to grind to level up. The game was really good. Like, there was some bosses where I was like, shit, I'm under level. I need to level up, or I need to go get whatever staff, because I was a magic build. I was like, I need to go get this. And I went and got it, and it made it that much easier. But like, other games aren't doing that shit.
No, and I think that's the thing. What gaming to me should be is innovation, inclusion. It should have a whole bunch of stuff that should be like, this is definitely the game of the year. Not, I like this, so it's my game of the year, because everybody's game of the year is different. My game of the year could be me playing Candy Crush on my phone all day at work. That could be my personal game of the year. That means game of the year. So I think we look at it
I completely agree. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I'll throw this one out there too. So like we all remember OG Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2. Those were fucking bomb ass games. It was a take on GTA that was a little different. There was a different spin to it. It was dope. And then they went to 3 and 4 and it was like, what the hell is happening? And they just like ran away with that series and nobody knew what was happening.
Well,
like-
I think they themselves have flat out said at their studio actually that they did not like people didn't like it. That's cool, but they did not want to make a GTA clone, and it also did not sell good. 1 and 2, they did not. Like people played them, but they did not sell good. 3 took off because 3 they were like, we're just not going to be GTA anymore. We're just going to have fun with it and do what we like. And people loved 3. 4 was a little too much, which is why the new game is going back to being like 3. Because 4 went a little.
I think I'm not gonna lie. After 3, I felt like they kind of were. They really pushed the how far can we take shit aspect of the game.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing. It's like sometimes these companies are just thinking about like what's gonna sell. It's like COD. If COD, like, why was Vanguard released? We do not need an.
It's a yearly release.
Well, yeah, absolutely, it is. But it's the same sense for like Cold War. Why was Cold War released? Do we really need another yearly release? Where it's like this shit's fucking nuts. Because not only the guns broke Warzone, which was a huge thing.
Because I think the Vanguard weapons are like OP as fuck right now, actually.
Yeah, they're completely broken and it's just nuts, but it's like, why did you release this game? It's nothing special. It's just your yearly rinse and repeat. And it's like, you guys are okay with this for whatever reason? And it's like, nah, that shit's not cool. Take a break. I'm not asking for them to do what Elden Ring did and have it fucking 10 years in the making or whatever, or have it what Sky or the new Elder Scrolls or fucking Starfield or whatever other fucking game where it's like, oh, it's been in development for 5, 6, 10 years and it's going to be a fucking masterpiece upon release. I'm not asking for that.
No, but see, the way they look, it's a... Here, let me just ask a valid question. Did you guys get Vanguard?
Hell no.
No.
I've played it, but I did not purchase it willingly.
Okay. I was gonna say, because mostly the reason why they continue to do this this yearly shit is because they know that people are gonna buy it. It's the same reason. Look at FIFA, for example, or look at or look at 2K or some, every yearly release. Even Assassin's Creed, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to stop doing yearly releases because that shit, like, for them it was not working out. Like they didn't have me personally, I don't think they were the company to do yearly releases. And 2K and them, to be honest, it's literally a cash grab, because you have your 3 or 4 different tiers when they release. Like you got the Legends, the base, and all that other bullshit. Then if you want to play what is it? What's the one that you can, My Team or whatever the fuck it is? You have to pay, you basically gamble for that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like they know. Yeah, so they know their consumers are going to buy this stuff, especially for people, like I said, for people who okay, let's do the casual. Me, for example. I know for a fact when I get 2K, I'm going to buy VC, because last thing I want is my character to be fucking trash in the beginning of the game.
Like, you don't want it to be trash for the first 2 or 3 months. It's gonna take you to grind it up.
Yeah, because my thing is, it's like, okay, and I know it's a game, but in all logic, why does my character have to be so ass going into the and is qualified in the NBA that I can't even legit play? Like I can't even make a basic 2-pointer under the hoop without it, because I didn't put money into the game to raise my VC at the start. I'm not gonna want to go through that shit. I'm gonna max my character out as much as I can before, like, what is it, 84, 85, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That way I can, I could actually build start gaining more VC and stuff like that. And then like for people from my team, I know a couple of people who are like down bad on my team or the FIFA version of my team. They go from one game spending hella money and then they go to the next game and they're like, shit, I don't have anything from the last game, so I'm going to start putting money towards this shit. That way I can start building a good ass team. It's like I said, it's all predatory. Like they know what their consumers want, and well, not what they want, what they think they need, or whatever the fuck, however they think, and it just goes off of that.
Okay.
I mean, I completely agree. I think that it's coming to the age where, and we've talked about this in the past, especially with like sporting franchises. But going back to COD, it's like they want to keep the CDL refreshing. They want to make it to where it's like, okay, Vanguard just came out. Now all Call of Duty players have to play Vanguard, get good at Vanguard, get good at whatever new mechanic drops, this, that, and the third. And then it's like, okay, well, next year, who knows what's changing? Because I mean,
bro,
we know how it goes.
Let me give you a real life example of gatekeeping to the maximum. You can ask Q. I was literally going to start playing Warzone again, only because I seen the finisher for the Snoop Dogg skin. I'm being 100% serious because I see the TikTok on that shit. I downloaded Warzone and everything. You know why? And I couldn't get it. You know why? Because I have to fucking buy. I literally have to go out of my way and buy Vanguard to get that skin. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit then. I'm literally not about to pay another $60. Mind you, I mean, yeah, Warzone's free, but I'm not going to go cash out more money to get a single skin that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and you had to pay for that skin too, right?
Yeah, and you got to pay, and you have to pay for the skin. So
Yes,
it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not about to sit here and do that shit. Call of Duty is not that good of a game for me to do that. Like,
no,
I
mean, I'll even say this: when I went back and started playing Warzone, oh my god, I don't know what it is, but it's just like the mechanics are just, they're not fluid at all. The game's fluid, the game, and I guess it's just going from like a super fast-paced Apex
to
going to like Call of Duty where things are more slowed down, and yeah, you can run and gun in those like close spaces, but other than that, the game is a lot more meticulous. Your sensitivity has to be turned up super high for you to get those like flicks going again. But to me, you're right on your end as well. Like, it's stupid that I have to go out of my way, buy Vanguard. Hell, back in the day, buy Cold War just so I can get an operator or just so I can use guns, gun skins, etc.
Yeah.
So I can completely agree.
Like that's just, I don't know. I feel like yearly gaming is, I mean, I don't know. I feel like gaming as of right now is definitely is on the verge of imploding on itself, only because like there's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a huge lack of creativity for games. There's also like these shitty practices. Companies calling out other games because they're single player and shit like that when their games only get like a fucking 6 point something every year.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
You got shit like that going on. I don't know. I personally feel like the gaming industry is going to have to hit a huge reset button.
I mean, the sad thing is I don't think it'll happen because this is all a business first. Yeah, the consumer shit died in like 2010, bro. They don't care about.
No, you absolutely right.
Because then you have two sides of it. You have we just want to make a game, make money side of it, which is fair. But then you also have people going, nah, bro, I want my game to be good. So the companies go, well, we want to make money, so we got to spend money and a lot of time to do it, or do it in the most cost efficient way possible. You know, like you said earlier, they're gonna make a 2K. Well, they're gonna make a 2K FIFA every year because they don't got to do much. All they got to do really is update the roster. Could they do that with this? Yeah, could they do it with the same game? Probably, but then trust me, someone's gonna go, because this is what you have. Let's say 2K didn't make a game every year, right? Let's say they made a game every 3-4 years instead, which is fine. They do it every 3-4 years, and they go, we're gonna update the roster. You know, update the roster when roster changes happen, but the game still looks like it was made 4 years ago. Some games that come out every year look fantastic. Like you can have a game come out 1 year and it's like, it looks kind of good, and then the next year drop, even Call of Duty. I don't like them. They at least look good. The maps and the graphics in COD look good. Now I want you to go back and what's the COD that came out 4 or 5 years ago, bro? I don't even know.
Modern Warfare, the first one.
Was it the remastered Modern Warfare?
No,
because
it was
remastered
Modern Warfare 2, and then
the first one. No, the 2 was only
Modern Warfare came out, and
that
then
was just the campaign.
That was just the campaign though.
But I'm saying, if you go back and play that game and compare, I know it's not gonna look night and day, but it definitely will look different than you playing the newest Call of Duty. Even though it comes out every year, they do little small tweaks to go, hey, we have new hardware, new stuff. 2K is not going to do that.
No.
2K not. But they don't, and they don't have to, because that'd be even for me.
2K is just going to make their money, but this is also the thing, like, because let's be real. What was it? A year or 2 years ago when Russ had his triple double, like he was averaging that triple double.
Yeah.
In my opinion, his overall needs to be a lot higher. But then you have him getting hurt this year, or you have him bullshitting on a shit team this year. Well, now his overall just, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying in general. But like, you know, somebody has a bad year and then their stock just drops on 2K.
I agree with the first half.
And that's that. Well, I'm just like saying.
No, you're good. I'm just saying. I agree.
I'm just saying overall, because that's like back in the day, the old school Madden days, where you knew you were picking up the Falcons just so you could run with Mike Vick, so you could run with Mike Vick, or just like that. 2 or 3 years ago on Madden, when you were picking up the Ravens just so you could run with Lamar Jackson, and then it's like, well, if Lamar Jackson doesn't perform this year or next year, who knows? He might be an 80 overall, and now I can't play as my favorite player, etc., because the game's going to treat him like trash. That's another thing I don't like personally, because it's like they can get better, but you're not going to diss them and make them worse.
Yeah.
Look at Golden State every year. Golden State's ass. I mean, I want to say, hold on. I'm sorry. That's my
it's opinion.
Yeah. That's just me hating, because I definitely do hate on Golden State. But I do gotta say, look at the last couple years when Golden State wasn't even in the picture for a long time. I don't want to stay on this particular topic too long, but look at Golden State for the past 2-3 years before you know, when everybody left and all that bullshit. They were, I can tell you right now, they were not top 5 team in the West at any point for a while. But they but in 2K they kept them, you know, they still kept them up there, even though that's not what the fuck they were.
A good point was kind of brought up to just jump back away from, because we won't get into basketball talk too long. Your game definitely can get worse though. He is kind of right. Your game definitely can get worse.
You can get
Look
worse,
at
but like
Destiny.
No, I won't even say Destiny.
No. We're
DLC, new games, and this is where
I think he's talking about players.
Wait, what?
If it means players,
what?
We had somebody in chat say you can get worse though. That doesn't make sense. Pretty much kind of how I was bringing up. Like, I personally don't think that somebody's rating in a sports game should change drastically, because really we're seeing them get better. I think that if they're getting better, then yes, their average can change, but there's a lot of things that can go into how they're rated. Like, you're telling me since Klay Thompson was fucking out of the picture because of his injury, Should he be rated worse, or should he be rated as his last rating?
He
No, I
should
think
not.
no. Really quick. I think
Go ahead.
that that's a good point, but I think it doesn't go with your argument. Only because go back to Westbrook and 2K. 2K, remember, is not just you're playing basketball. It's supposed to be a real life simulator for it, you know. And if I'm playing with
sure.
a friend of mine we both watch basketball equally, and he picks the Lakers and he shoots a wide open three with Westbrook, I expect him to miss. Do you know why? Because it's based on that year of Westbrook. The game came out in 2023. That means 2022 Westbrook, which he did, missed. So I'm expecting him to pull up wide open and miss.
Yeah.
Realistic.
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like,
that. If the next year he pops off, then and the next year's game come out, I expect Westbrook to pop off in this game because in real life he did the same thing. If he sucks, he should suck in the game. That's just life. With a boxer, with Mike Tyson comes back at the age of 60, and they put 60-year-old Mike Tyson against some new, fresh 20-year-old boxer, I do not expect Mike Tyson to be rated higher than him. He's 60 years old. Is he still a great boxer? Yes, he's also 60.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just have him high up.
I think you're muted, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck, you're muted.
My bad. 2K is trash in my opinion. The last great 2K was 2K11. So
agreed.
Oh my god.
No, he's right. We could have said 13. Could have said 13.
I like
2K11, 2K16. The same thing. But I definitely agree that if you have to gamble in video games, it's not a game. It's just not.
Speaking of gambling, let's talk about Diablo.
Oh goodness gracious! Hang on, let me look up the Diablo Immortal review.
Oh, I'm gonna say
the
this.
Metacritic, I guess you could say.
Tell him he got his mom's hips. Does that mean
what?
I don't know. Somebody in chat tell him he got his mom hips. I don't know what that means. That's funny though.
All right, so on Metacritic for Diablo Immortal, the user score is a 0.4 by 6,000 people.
That's high.
Shit, I might have to go look. What's that on Meta?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Metacritic, yeah.
Metacritic Diablo Immortal. We need to fix these reviews. I need to throw a 10-star in there.
I will say that the hack and slash of Diablo is still amazing and great, but at the same time, it's just a straight up cash to grab. I did love the fact that there wasn't a loot box system, but more of a dungeon crawler system. So you sacrifice these emeralds or whatever the heck they're called to go into this dungeon, to then go through the dungeon, to then kill stuff to get that loot from whatever you sacrificed. I thought that was neat, but to get like legendary stuff is so hard unless you are basically a millionaire, because just having to dump that much money, especially my biggest thing, you get done with the mission and it's like, congrats, you have finished this mission. You should buy this mission completion pack. Yes, it's only $1, but those things start adding up when you complete more than like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 missions. And it's just not worth it in my opinion.
So I'll say this. Looking at the reviews, everything stems off of pretty much just the pay to win as it is. Oh, that was rude. T'Challa in chat, he's coming after me. I'll let him take it though, but I'll let him have it. But looking at the reviews, literally everything is built around just the pay to win. Do I agree that yes, that is immoral? I do. I think that they could have done better to make it more user friendly, whatever you want to call it. But overall, I mean, it's a good game for what it is. It's a free game. I can play it on my phone. Granted, I need Wi-Fi, which sucks. But I think that it is still a decent game for what it is. It didn't blow my mind, but I can literally hop on, I can play it, and I can enjoy it for what it is. And then it's just the negative feedback of everybody getting on there saying, hey, pay to win. It's unfair, this, that, and the third. I get it. Because that's why a lot of my friends don't play it. Um, where I live now, a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, I'm not playing that. It's pay to win," and it's like that don't mean shit. Let's just get on it and have fun, like your old school Diablos. Let's get on there and grind it out.
So Diablo Immortal consists of 5-star gems, which are important for players to obtain and fully gear up their character. These, however, now cost a lot of money, and to achieve all these, it would take up to $110,000
Huh?
or endless playing heroes to get it.
Huh?
Or excuse me, endless playing hours to get it if you don't want to spend money. So I'm a grinder. All right. I absolutely love RPGs. I still play a majority of them to this day. I think what was it called? There was a game that was just released that's an RPG, but it's like made in 1999, and I just love that game. But I also just went and there's nothing that's been released that actually has been good enough for me to play and buy. So I actually went and replayed Final Fantasy 9, and I'm currently playing Final Fantasy 10. And it's not a
Ooh.
cash grabbing game,
Ooh.
but I absolutely love to play those games because I love the grind, right?
Yes, sir.
And Diablo was a great grinding game. Like I will go back and play Diablo 3 with my friends all the time because I just love the loot and slash type game. The dungeon
Yeah,
is amazing.
absolutely.
And even when you get to the end game, you can still have more levels to go up. And this game, Diablo Immortal, is just like I like to be OP really quickly, right? Granted, I also like to play on the hardest difficulty. So being OP is not really being OP because even if I had all the legendary gear and I was max level and all this stuff, I would still be getting my ass kicked. Now, in this game, do you want to fork over the $110,000 to be a max level individual with max gear? Or are you just going to continuously play it, without spending any money? And I'm not about that life. I don't mind throwing in $1 or two. Granted, I have Diablo Immortal on my Samsung, and I have this Google thing where you answer questions and it gives you money for it. So as long as I continue to answer these questions, Google pays me, and I use that to fund my Diablo Immortal needs, I guess.
He's taking the
Um,
surveys. Taking the
I
survey.
yes, that is one way. If anybody out there is wanting to get some money to throw into Diablo Immortal, go ahead and download Google, whatever the heck it's called. But obviously they don't pay you that much, so I've only been able to spend like $3-4. So, but even then,
Yeah.
it's like I think I only have like one legendary gear, and it's only like level 20. So it's not even max level or anything like that, and it's easily replaceable because obviously if I continue through the game and I get better stuff, then yeah. But I haven't even touched Diablo Immortal since I think like the week that it came out. So, but
Yeah,
anyways, that's my rant. I'm sorry.
I only play it here and there as well, but you're completely correct. Paying that $110,000 is absolutely
No,
ridiculous, and
that's
then
way too much.
even on top of that, let's say it took hypothetically 100,000 or 1,000 hours to reach that level of gear, ruins, everything.
What do you
yo,
mean gear
yo,
ruins everything?
no, like if it took you realistically, because you said you can either pay that 110,000 or you have to just play persistently. Did you not say that
I did, but
to
that's
get
the
to
thing
that
is
level?
I'm
So if they were to say hypothetically it's going to take you 1,000 hours to reach the same outcome, are you willing to put in that 1,000 hours?
so for your context, 1,000 hours. Do you know how much that translates to days?
Enough.
No,
That's what I know.
it's so I recently looked and
It'd be like 3 years.
I have 500 hours on Counter-Strike Global Offensive. That's 20
Good game.
days, 20 real life days, 24
Yeah.
hours. So 1,000 would be 40 days. I'm that little iPad kid that has ADHD, right? I can't just continuously play one game because I'm always jumping around. Like I said, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10. Sometimes I just replayed for my wife Kingdom Hearts, the entire entire thing. Eddie would be proud. But I replayed the entire storyline just for my wife because she wanted to see it. But I was also hopping around to different games. Right now I'm playing Neon White, and then sometimes I'm playing Fortnite. There's so many games out there that I enjoy playing that I'm not just going to stick to one game and be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna play this for 40 days straight just so I can be max level. That to me is just kind of insane.
Yeah, I think it's a limit. I think it's a limit. Grinding it out and being I'm the best at it is cool. If I gotta spend God knows how many,
I will say
What?
this.
you can even do the math. I gotta spend that many hours to get
Hey.
max, and I'm like, now what? And they're gonna add more, and I'm gonna leave the game at that. I gotta spend those hours of that money to get to current content. No,
I'll tell you this. Apex, I have totaled almost 1,400 hours. I am extremely happy with myself.
I'm scared to look at how much time I got for Destiny
Shit,
right now. I'm
shit,
scared. I'm scared.
On Ark Survival, I have 250, which I think is pretty good. Granted, this is just off of Steam. This has nothing related to my Xbox or PlayStation days. So bear with me. I probably have a lot more than what's shown. But what's another good game that
Oh, you know what game I could genuinely I used to just spend my life away. And this is gonna be a meme pick, but this is honest. I spent a lot of time on like fucking, let's say, I know I've spent a hell of time on Sonic Advanced Battle 2. I put in a whole bunch of hours on like
not surprised.
Super Mario 64, fucking, shit that's actually fun. I'm sorry, like nothing now is like fun. And Diablo, especially Diablo now with making, like, I know Chuck said this. I could predict it in my head, but I know he said that he spent, I know he's a grinder. Like he grinds on almost every fucking game. Kingdom Hearts is, for example, one of those fucking games that I know for a fact I put hella hours in. And
Yeah.
Diablo, I don't know. Me knowing that at the end of the day I have to pay a whole bunch of money, like I have to pay money to be good. No, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
No.
I can see if that money like was cosmetic. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna get I could like make myself look clean as fuck, I can understand that. I'm not about to pay money to win at a game. That was almost the same problem that I don't know if you guys brought it up. That was almost the same problem that Battlefront 2. That was almost the same problem with that one, because you were getting loot boxes and paying for cars that were OP as fuck. Like I'm not gonna sit there and tolerate that. No, fuck that.
Nope, absolutely not. And it's like
I
it's not
agree.
that Diablo is PvP either, but it's just you want to play the game to enjoy it, to have that feeling of, oh man, I did super good. I
Yeah.
have just dominated these minions or zombies or whatever you're fighting, and now you have really good loot because of it, and you're like, damn, I feel achieved, right? To just
Yeah.
dump money into it and be like, oh snap, I got a legendary because I dropped $5, like that
does not feel fun. Like
no.
I can tell you right now, and Q can even testify to this. Do you remember when we used to play D1 and some fucking random would get like one of the best guns in the game? And you know how heated you were because that's true RNG. That's I mean it's RNG, but at the same time he still played he still played the game for it.
Yeah.
And vice versa. When
RNG
you get
in these games, I think that RNG as the progression mechanic is horrendous.
No, you're right. I'm not talking about RNG. I'm just saying just grinding out, and I'm putting it in the perspective of grinding out in general. Like it feels good. Me knowing, for example, if I'm going to a dungeon and I'm grinding the dungeon for a specific thing, and I get that specific thing, I'm going to be happy as fuck. I like my estrogen is going to be like over the roof because I know I worked for it. Unless now, if there was an option to put $5 in the game, You know how mad I'm gonna be if I see some random, like even a friend of mine just grab it for $5. It's gonna make me feel like shit, especially if I already, if I already grind it. I'm not gonna do that. Like that, it kills the fun in games.
But I'll take
in my opinion.
I'll take that RNG over a loot box any day, because it's like I would rather hop into Pokemon. I just paid $60, $70 for Pokemon, whatever the case might be, right? But if I had to pay an extra $5 to get like a shiny Mew,
I'm
right?
glad you brought that up because I was just gonna. I was literally gonna say that. It's like I honestly, me personally, I love spending, especially in the older games. I don't like the new, like RCS was cool, but I didn't really like with that you can. I don't like the you can see everything mechanic.
Yeah.
That's just me. But I like the RNG of, oh, I'm grinding in this patch of grass for like I wouldn't even say hours because someone I know found a shiny doodle in like the first couple minutes of the game.
You don't know what happened to that thing. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened to that thing. You definitely didn't just lose. That's fine.
But anyway, it's just the fact that you know what I'm saying. Like you can hop on to games and stuff like that, and like you can either grind, it can be RNG. It doesn't matter. As it still feels like you earn it. Like that's just my opinion on it. You feel like you earn it. You don't feel like you just lose that factor when you can just buy it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and that's why I love Diablo 3 rather than Diablo Immortal, because Diablo 3 is you do this mission and you have a chance to get something crazy good, legendary, whatever it might be, and then you do also like a dungeon and you have that RNG factor of when I get done with this dungeon, it's just a mystery legendary equipment. It could be a weapon, it could be an armor, it could be a ring, necklace, whatever the case might be.
Yeah,
Right?
because don't you get like one of those? Like you have to log in every single day to get one of those. I forgot what it was. It's like a core or something, and you only get it as a pay to win player.
Yes,
I know
because if you miss a day, it restarts you.
Yeah.
And you have you can't log in. Like it gives you a set 30 days, whatever it is. And if you miss a day, you restart, but you only go back up to however many. So if I logged in on that 15th day and I didn't log in on that 16th day, I restart and I can only go up to that 15th day. So if 30 was a legendary, whatever, then it sucks. You
That
can't hit
also
it.
sucks. A lot of mobile games do that system where it's like you reward you for logging in every day, but it's like, bro, you don't know what could happen.
Yeah, right. Family
I get this
emergency.
one day and I'm fucked. It's annoying. Like
Yeah,
a lot of mobile games, we go, oh, you logged in for let's say 100 days consecutively. Here's this super rare thing. Sometimes it's not always the best, but it's still something. It's like, this thing is probably either really good or niche. If you miss one day, you fucked. You're just fucked.
No, but see, I think honestly that's where the big misstep from Diablo came out was it literally should have just stayed a mobile game. And if you were going to put it on different platforms, take the mobile game aspect away from it, unless it's free. But
I agree.
don't you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a weird thing to put because what Diablo is, what I'm mostly scared of is that more games are going to take this approach to making their games now. Because I'm glad that there's an outcry for it. And people just didn't let it, people didn't let it just happen, because if people just let it happen, it would definitely be an outcry.
Yeah, but I mean, like we were all discussing, that's just how video games are made nowadays. Nobody really cares about like the consumers and stuff like that. Especially Square Enix. Like Square Enix for me, because I'm just a huge Final Fantasy nut job.
Yes,
So
sir.
as soon as I don't even know which game came out, but then they just started coming out with like these ridiculous games like Babylon Fall, Octopath Traveler. Granted, these are decent games, but they're not something that like I just continuously want to get into.
That was around the time they were working on FF15, which fuck that game. But I think because they had their main team attempting to make FF15 into something decent and they failed, they were like, well, we can just make a bunch of side projects in the time they get. I mean, they still got a name. They're still Square Enix, and they made Path. They made Brave the Default, which was still cool. But it's like, bro, I want my next Final Fantasy.
For real, man.
It goes back to that same argument of, well, they know they want to make a good game, and FF will always sell, always will. It just
And so sadly too, I feel like, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts has gone to that route as well. Like,
Yeah, because 4 does not. I'm sorry, 4. Chuck, me and you have talked about how I feel about 3.
mhm,
3, I feel like was definitely a very rushed game. That
yes,
way, it could just please the people who wanted a new Kingdom Hearts with an actual new number. I also feel like if Square Enix really wanted to, they could definitely make Kingdom Hearts like a yearly release game. Like,
Oh,
I
but they're
mean,
not doing that. I mean,
no,
the thing
I'm
is,
saying they're close. They are honestly close to doing that with all these fucking titles that they release on different platforms. They could definitely do it,
no,
but
but
they're
I
not
think
going.
I think the thing reason why they'll never do that is because Square Enix is not like these other companies. Other companies have 1 to possibly 2 teams that handle the whole game. They don't
Yeah,
do anything else. Square Enix has like 15 teams making these games. Their name may say Square Enix. They might have published it. Everybody didn't even make the game. For example, Octopath, they just took assets from like FF15's menu and stuff. They didn't
yeah.
actually make that game. They just said, use this. I don't care what you do at that point. So Kingdom Hearts, though, is only kind of iffy because the guy who makes Kingdom Hearts is also, for some reason, being allowed to touch the FF7 remake. So then you get delays and stuff like that coming in where the 7 remake really shouldn't take like 10 years to come out for
Yo,
all of
the thing
it.
that pissed me off, there's
It
gonna be
probably
3
will,
parts
though.
to it.
Only, well, no, that I expected that. There was no way they were going to put all of the original 7 in one game. If they did, that would no. There's literally no way. I expected honestly 4 parts because of how big 7 is, but because without spoiling it, they want to change shit for no reason. Who knows how long that game's gonna be now?
I don't mind them changing it. All right, I'm
Yeah,
a huge
I
fan.
know before you left for deployment. I know me and you talked heavily on that. I know. I feel like I agree with Chuck. Without spoiling too much, I definitely think they're taking a different route to the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
if you have not played the original Final Fantasy VII, definitely play the original Final Fantasy VII before you play this game.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it off of the basis of the direction. I personally think that they're gonna go.
No, but I think that's why you shouldn't, because if you played the OG7 and you play this one, I'm literally replaying the game right now. There's parts of the game where I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Not in a bad way. It's kind of just like, what the, huh? And some are good.
Yeah.
Some are actually really good, but
so coming from a huge RPG nerd and playing Final Fantasy VII myself back when I was a wee lad, a majority of us have already played Final Fantasy VII, the original, so we can spoil it and go into depth about it and stuff like that. So when Sephiroth, when Sephiroth kills Aerith, I feel like that was probably one of the biggest, slaps in the face to a lot of fans of the series. So I feel like with this new one, I feel like they're going to remedy that. And this is just speculation, obviously.
Well,
this is not.
They have, without spoiling too much, they have already said that thankfully No More came out of his little shell and said, I know people are mad, but rest assured the events of FF7 will still play out. There may be some small changes, but you're still going to play 7. I think
so everything's going to happen.
We don't know. We don't know to what extent, but I think that's because that death that happens is I know it's a slap in the face, but it's also probably Final Fantasy's biggest twist. I don't think they've had a single twist come close to that at all.
Yeah,
ever.
no, I think the only thing that was close, I want to say really close. Well, not even that close, but it's like is when for me it was when Final Fantasy X, when I found out that Titus was fucking what's his face?
A spirit?
Was actually he
was a dream. He was a dream.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Yeah,
that
got me off guard.
That happens towards like the end of the game and stuff, so it's like shit. But Aerith is it's literally the central point of 7. When that happens, a lot of stuff happens plot wise. Where if you don't have that, something has to take its place. And knowing how 7 works, I don't think there's, even with the new game, there's nothing to take its place. There's nothing that can happen. There's no twist you could do to make that the same. It's just not gonna happen.
Here's what I think, right? So Square Enix, if they continue to go down the path of, whatever's transpiring right now, and they keep Aerith and Sephiroth alive, they can make that go for a really long time and make a bunch of money off of it just by going off in a different story direction, right?
No, and that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I feel like I feel like that's what in the third one anyway. I feel like it's definitely going to conclude to where it's going to it's going to a different direction where they're going to
Yeah.
spin off of that. That's how I feel like they're going to.
I
do it.
personally wouldn't mind that. Final Fantasy is like the longest running, video game franchise going on to this day. I definitely agree with one of our viewers. He said that I need Final Fantasy 16. I also agree.
Yes.
But even if they, continue to have it where Sephiroth and Aerith are still alive and none of them, can die without the other one, that would be fine with me. I would absolutely be like, you know what? Cool. I would love to see Zack get with Aerith and Cloud get with Tifa. And then they just go and do whatever they need to do. And then
they said it will be no more than 3 games, so don't gotta worry about that. It'll be 3 games. That's guaranteed now. They said people were trying to get them to do 4, and they were like, we don't even want to do 3, but we have to do 3. So that's fine. The only issue is FF7 is probably the most convoluted Final Fantasy because that's the game with 6 billion backstories that you have to know, which is why they're making Crisis Core and remastering that. Why they're making
I'm actually hype about that.
Woo! Yes.
I'm hype as fuck about that one.
I'm glad for it, but it's also like shit, man. If I want to understand, it's like
it's the Kingdom Hearts problem. It's the Kingdom Hearts problem. If you want to know the full story of Kingdom Hearts, you literally have to go back and play every single other one.
But I think we got stuff to look forward to. I think everybody here, we can end on like a really simple generic question is of what's coming out in the next year or two, what would be your most, for you personally, your most anticipated game?
Hogwarts Legacy. For me, Hogwarts Legacy. No cap.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious. Okay. Actually, there's 2 games, but I gotta look up the actual name for the other game because I forgot.
Dude,
for now.
It really does have to be Hogwarts Legacy just because I don't think anything else has been spoken about that really has caught my eye. I mean, granted, if they if they say they're gonna release a Sims 5, hands down, I'll fucking take that any day of the week.
Apparently, there's a quote unquote trailer on that.
No, there's not.
That's fake. That was fake.
EA is not going to make Sims 5 until they're done making DLC for Sims 4.
But that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, Hogwarts Legacy is just gonna let me nerd out in a universe that I want to nerd out in.
Fair.
And it's really gonna be,
all right,
in my opinion, the best.
You want to know what's worse than a Disney adult? Harry Potter adult, man.
You're only saying that. You're only saying that because your wife is sitting next to you.
Yeah, she's about to come over and smack me. I should be quiet.
No, okay. So I lied. I do got 3 anticipated game. I do got Hogwarts as my top, but I definitely, because of the Pokemon fan in me, I definitely am looking forward to that Pokemon Violet and stuff, only because I want to see how the multiplayer is really implemented. It'll give me a fucking reason to buy the whatever the Switch thing is.
Okay.
What about you, Q? I'll go last, or Hayden, and then
I can't say FF16 because I'm gonna buy that game. That game can be butter. I'm still gonna buy it, sadly. And I'm probably
is it coming out this year? Like, is it officially?
Oh, no, they pushed it back, so it's coming out. I said next year or 2. So
next year or 2.
I think it's like spring 2023.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's my number one.
High key Spider-Man. Yeah. My bad. No, I thought you were talking about just this year. If we're talking about the next couple of years,
year or 2, because those are going to define. Because think about it, we're entering that era of companies not going to go. Here's our big game, while we go into hiding, so stuff has to kind of drop and be good. God of War is going to come out. You're going to have God of War and Spider-Man come out, so Sony can just be quiet and go, "Hey, you got your games. Play with these for a little bit. We work on the next games."
Yeah, because they're working. I know they're working on Wolverine, the Wolverine game.
I don't know about Microsoft.
I know the Wolverine game. I think the Wolverine game comes out after. It's gonna be after Spider-Man.
Of course.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait for Skate. whenever it decides to drop. I can't wait for that one.
Skate 4 is coming out soon, and I would have put it, but they haven't said. They said pre-alpha, so that could be 2029 for all I freaking know. It's coming out. But yeah, I'm gonna say Spider-Man. If we're gonna do 3, I'll do Spider-Man. I'll do FF16, and that actually I only really have those 2. Everything else I'm kind of
the
like,
Breath of the Wild sequel is going to be coming out one of these years.
maybe.
I said one of these years. I didn't say when.
If the Breath of the Wild
man.
one was cool,
Hey,
but
people love that game.
they can love it all they want.
Wind Waker's
It
still
was-
my favorite. I don't care.
Wind Waker is
Oh,
top.
hands down, hands
Wind
down.
Waker is definitely my favorite Legend of Zelda game. And Breath of the Wild, I thought was going to be like a spiritual successor / upgrade, and it was cool. And then the coolness wore off, and I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to just beat the game now. I'm done.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I was. Like after I beat the last temple guy or whatever, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to beat the game now.
Well,
like,
if anybody wants it, who hasn't played Breath of the Wild, just so you know, it is still $60 on every shop available. So if you want to play full price for it, or hell, if you want to go back and play the OG Wind Waker, Nintendo has your back for $60 freaking dollars.
Thanks, Nintendo.
You know what's crazy?
Go ahead and play that.
No one. You know what's crazy? No one. I don't really hear too much talk about that one.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, how is Nintendo get? I mean, we know why Nintendo's getting. They're like the Disney of gaming, but can we?
We'll
have to talk about-
We'll save that for next time. Hayden, go ahead and give us your 3 anticipated games.
Harry Potter, Skull and Bones. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I think that's gonna kind of give me a little Assassin's Creed, Black Flag reminiscence. I kind of wonder what they're gonna do as far as your pirate island. I really wonder what they're gonna do as far as a multiplayer. Because I'm assuming they're gonna have one. I really haven't looked into it, other than watching the trial or just the release on it. Other than that, Pal World.
Power.
I'm a
Which
child.
was that one?
It is gonna be the Pokemon with guns.
All right, you lost me. You lost me because it's just like saying Shadow the Hedgehog with guns. Like,
Terrible.
Will be no multiplayer crazy.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so what are your 3 seconds? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Harry Potter,
Okay.
Hogwarts Legacy, Skull and Bones, and then Pal World. Look it up. It's just gonna be a meme game, and I'm here for it.
Also, I lied. I have one more I didn't speak on. It's called Rumbleverse. If you don't know about it, I've been playing the beta this weekend. I think the beta ends today, so when we're done here, we'll play some more. It is a BR, but it's a wrestling BR. As weird as that sounds, it is a cartoony wrestling. It's 40 players.
I've seen a little bit.
If you get a chance when you're done here, go look it up. Rumbleverse.
I've seen a little bit of it. It doesn't look terrible.
And they're going full on. Like, they're not going full meme like Fortnite, but they're definitely putting stuff into it. If it's free, it's a free game. If it's free BR, I'm definitely playing that. But
yeah,
I agree. His list needs to be changed up, but we'll pass up.
My list is fire.
All right. Anyway, go ahead, Chuck.
All right. Being the nerd that I am and the RPG enthusiast, first one that I'm looking forward to, really excited for, Final Fantasy Reunion Crisis Core. Hopefully they just keep everything the same. Maybe add a little bit extra at the end game or something. I don't know. I don't care. But absolutely Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. Just because I want to see where this story goes and everything. I'm hoping that they can, expand upon it. And then probably just Kingdom Hearts 4. Obviously, my wife over here.
You guys notice all of his games are Square Enix games.
What's wrong with that? I didn't want to pick them all too. We would have had the same list.
It's because you knew he was going to pick Square Enix game is the reason why you didn't pick a Square Enix game.
Exactly.
That's the problem. Look at
Black
him.
Mage Academy, just saying.
Exactly.
But I'm really hoping Kingdom Hearts 4 will be good. They bring it home. Maybe just, make it Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay and just hurry and freaking please bring it home. But that's all I got. Also, I have also been playing this game called Neon White. Y'all should definitely check it out, especially if you're playing on your computer. 10 out of 10 game. It's an indie game, but 10 out of 10.
I play on my iPhone 13.
That's pretty much all we got for this one. Hour and 40 minutes of talking about video games. Really reminisced about a lot of amazing stuff, and I can't wait to continue this next session we have. Does anybody got anything before we end?
Man, I'll just say this: somebody banned T'Challa Barfield from chat next time. Other than that, I think
That's our number one viewer, man.
Other than that, I think I'm good.
We did good.
Yeah.
We did. Yep, that was amazing, y'all. All right, we appreciate all the viewers talking to us in chat. Y'all are awesome. Continue to stay awesome.